In Shreveport, Louisiana, a gruesome and perplexing mystery unfolds.
You got blood in the car, you got a missing person, but you got no body.
So what's the story?
A rookie detective takes on one of the most personal cases of his career.
What are those?
I know what it is, because I was in the Navy.
Get this thing tested.
A desperate search for answers.
No more games.
Everyone had a story to tell, but no one was telling the truth.
Leads to an unsettling revelation.
It's in the woods.
He's telling me where the body's dumped.
In a showdown with the prime suspect.
You can see the torment on his face.
Will the truth finally come to light?
I know you gotta be in knots, man, trying to sleep at night.
If they drop their head and break down in tears, oh, they're gonna give you the full story.
We're on Shirley Francis Road on the west side of Shreveport. This area is very rural. It just shows how diverse the landscape is here in Shreveport.
While you have the concrete jungle of the city, you also have this wooded area and swamps. It's the kind of place that's right to hide a murder.
Back in 2001, the Shreveport police are led to the hallowed ground back here to search for a dead body.
But like most body dump cases, this one started somewhere else, and in the most harmless of ways. It's November 27, 2001. Police are alerted about an abandoned vehicle.
When first responding officers arrive on scene, the vehicle is locked and secured, and quickly they notice there's blood on the inside of that vehicle. It's more than enough blood to justify calling it homicide, so that's exactly what first responding officers do. And the one assigned is none other than Rodney Demery.
I went to homicide 2000-2001, so it was early in my homicide career. Working homicide for me was never about putting anyone in jail. It was getting answers. I want to know exactly what happened.
Detective Rod Demery, prior to ever becoming a police officer, he was a veteran, a Navy man.
I was a U.S. Navy Master at Arms. My service years were 1990 to 1994. I served in the Red Sea, Kuwait, just about anywhere in the Middle East where the war was concentrated.
Rod Demery was a cop on the water during the Navy, and then when he's back on shore in civilian life, he follows suit and becomes a cop on land.
So what's the story?
Apparently the business owner called in about a suspicious car in the parking lot.
The owner of the business saw the vehicle parked and became concerned. It seemed out of place, and as she looked into the vehicle, she saw blood.
Has anyone been inside?
Now we're waiting for you, sir.
The doors are locked, but you can see directly into the vehicle, and there's a lot of blood, so it wasn't exaggerated.
Pop the lock.
Once inside, the blood reveals a troubling story. It's highly unlikely that someone may live through that, much less walk away from that vehicle.
The blood's concentrated on the passenger side.
That's high velocity spatter.
High velocity blood spatter is a force from a firearm.
Whatever happened to the passenger.
It's without question that the victim was going to be sitting in the passenger seat, and possibly the assailant that wielded the gun was in the driver's seat.
And there was also blood smears, so the body was moved from the front seat of the vehicle.
Hey, Rod, how you doing? What we got?
The coroner arrived on scene, of course, did their analysis.
Ooh, that's not good.
And realized that there was brain matter inside the blood, and told us that whoever was there probably did not survive that gunshot to the head.
Detective Demery wants to know 100% whether this is a homicide case, so he brings in a cadaver dog to try to help him confirm if there was ever a dead body inside of this car.
Cadaver dogs are specially trained to detect the odor of a dead body. My immediate thought was there was a body in the trunk. You kind of mentally prepare yourself to discover this body in this trunk.
Pop the trunk.
Your heart is pounded. You don't know what you're going to find. This is going to change your day and possibly the lives of other people.
When the trunk does open, there's no body in the trunk. There is a Navy sea bag. Of course, I know what a Navy sea bag looks like because I was in the Navy. We opened the bag. Well, of course, there's Navy uniforms.
What are those?
These are Cracker Jack pants.
It's termed Cracker Jack because it looks like the Cracker Jack popcorn guy, you know, with the flap on the back, and trousers have 13 buttons in the front, and there's no mistaking a Navy uniform.
We've got blood.
As Detective Demery goes in closer, he notices these Cracker Jack pants have all indications of blood on them. That means there was some kind of transfer of blood.
Our victim was in the trunk.
The victim was put in the trunk of the car and transferred that blood onto those pants. The story is getting deeper.
He looks on the inside of the pants. He knows what he's going to find because he wore those same pants.
Everything you own in the Navy is stenciled as your last name and first initial. The last name was Cox. The first initial was N.
What are you doing here, Mr. Cox?
At this point, Detective Demery knows there's nothing routine about this scene.
Whoever it was didn't live in Shreveport because there are no naval bases in Shreveport. Clearly it was somebody that was coming through, or maybe from here, but at this point we have no idea.
Run Cox through our system. First initial N.
Yes, sir.
Tell me if you find anything.
Will do.
The only thing I'm able to really surmise is that somebody was killed in that vehicle. Did the owner of the car kill someone? Someone killed the owner of the car.
It's got a dealer tag on it. It's not on the system. So right now, he's back where he was. All he has is a car back then, some blood in it, but he still has to proceed.
The forensic team is going through the vehicle with a fine-tooth comb. We're searching for clues in whatever form they may come.
You find anything?
Nothing inside yet, but let me show you something.
I see there's some foliage or weeds in the bumper. And that's odd because it's in the middle of the city.
Got Nick Good here.
One of the most obvious things about the vehicle is that there was scratches, fine scratches.
Whatever caused this was a very wooded area, and this car drove through it.
We're not going to find our victim anywhere around here.
Looking for a body in the woods or in a bayou is a needle in a haystack.
You gotta find your body before your case takes root. Right now, it's just twisting in the wind.
We got a hit. Nicholas Cox was reported missing a few days ago. He was last seen driving his new car.
A family called and said that their son, Nicholas Cox, a Navy sailor who was home on leave, he went missing.
Pop the trunk.
Shreveport homicide detective Rod Demery is investigating a strange case. The disappearance of Navy sailor Nicholas Cox.
We've got blood.
While police haven't found his body, all evidence points towards him being murdered.
You have the family's address?
Yeah.
Detective Demery heads to meet with Nicholas's parents to break the unbearable news that their son's missing persons case is now turned into a homicide investigation.
Thank you for your time.
When you're in a situation like this, there's only like one way to do it, and it's just be blunt.
There was a lot of blood in your son's car. I can't say for certain that he's dead.
It was not a death notification until I had more information.
Is there anything you can tell me?
Rod has to establish some type of biography on this victim.
He was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia.
Nicholas's parents said he joined the Navy and was deployed after 9/11.
He had bought a car, and the plan was to drive it back to Norfolk
I mean, it's critical right now to figure out exactly when Nicholas went missing.
He was supposed to call us when he arrived in Virginia. We never heard from him.
His father called his command and asked if he had made it back or checked in. They told him no. At that point, he called the police and reported him missing.
Did Nicholas have any issues while he was home?
I mean, there was a party.
Nick was rumored to have gotten into a fight at that party.
It was just something we heard.
Detective Demery learns from the family that the party was hosted by a woman named Tatiana Wright.
So Tatiana Wright became a person of interest that I needed to find out who she was and what this fight or alleged fight was all about.
Have a seat right here, please.
So Rod gets Tatiana right down to the homicide office.
Why am I here?
I heard Nicholas Cox was at your party.
She tells us she does know Nicholas Cox, but she has no clue about a fight or a party. She started to do these weird things with her hands, like shake and rock back and forth.
It's bright in here. Can we turn out the lights?
Turn out the lights.
Yeah.
It was all just bizarre. Honestly, I just thought she was crazy. I mean, it made no sense.
All right, back to Nicholas.
Right, I saw him.
She gives him a little nibble. She says that Nicholas came by to hang out with her brother, Alan James.
Nick and Alan go way back.
Alan James and victim Nicholas Cox were like thick as thieves. They grew up together. They went to high school together. They were best friends, and they even joined the Navy together.
My brother was stationed in San Diego.
Your brother, is he still in the Navy?
No.
Alan was kicked out of the Navy for smoking marijuana.
How long did Nicholas hang out with you and your brother?
I can't remember exactly.
She was all over the place with how and when was the last time she saw Nicholas.
I just know my brother saw him last.
She said that Nicholas and her brother left together, and she hadn't seen Nicholas since.
Right now, Alan James is going to know exactly what happened to this victim or the last time he saw him, which may be the most important key here.
I need to speak with your brother.
I don't know how to get in touch with him.
Tatiana, she just seemed to be just completely untruthful.
In this business, it's really tough as a detective to let these witnesses you know that are holding back go. It's a catch and release type of play.
You can go. For now.
At this point, I'm just suspicious of her. I don't know what she's hiding, but in a homicide investigation, man, everybody's a suspect. We know that Nicholas was at her house at some point, and possibly whoever killed Nicholas was there as well.
What's this?
It's a search warrant. If I find anything, you can be charged as an accessory.
Sometimes you have to turn the heat up a little bit and let them know that they themselves are subject to the investigation and prosecution. We're winding down. There's nothing that jumps out.
All right, let's roll.
I told you, there's nothing here.
For whatever reason, at that moment, I just looked at the phone and thought there's going to be something on this phone. It's like this, I don't know, it's this feeling that you get that it's almost like a hunch or an instinct.
What are you doing?
And I thought, I want to look at the caller ID.
619.
I see the 619 area code. I know that's San Diego, California. I was stationed in San Diego, California. So now my thought is who's she talking to?
What do you know in San Diego?
You can almost see the nervousness, the guilt, the oh my God, moment on their face.
A friend.
I think the number belongs to your brother.
Even though I didn't have Alan's name popping up on the caller ID, I knew it was him.
It's not my brother.
Allen's nowhere to be found in Shreveport, Louisiana, so Rod Demery at this point realizes that Allen James has fled Shreveport and is probably located in San Diego.
So you're telling me you haven't spoken to Allen?
No.
She knows a lot more than she's saying, and there was evidence that she was lying. It's time to bring her in.
You're coming with me to the station. Let's go.
There ain't no more playing around. It's time for Tatiana to give up some answers.
What's this?
It's a search warrant.
Detective Rodney Demery may have just caught a break in the murder investigation of Navy sailor Nicholas Cox.
Who do you know in San Diego?
A number found on Tatiana's phone leads Detective Demery to believe that Allen James, a possible suspect in the case, may have fled to San Diego, California.
So you're telling me you haven't spoken to Allen?
No.
I thought she was flat out lying about her brother's whereabouts and contact with him.
You're coming with me to the station. Let's go.
One way or another, Rod is going to get this woman to start telling the truth.
I know you're talking to your brother. So let's not waste my time today.
Okay. I spoke with Allen.
Tatiana explained that she was talking to her brother, and he was in San Diego.
When did he leave for California?
Right after he saw Nick.
Tatiana said that Nicholas came to get Allen. They went out for a ride or whatever.
Allen was actually driving Nicholas's car, and then a time later, Allen shows back up, still driving Nicholas's car, but no Nicholas.
Now, this has even gotten more suspicious.
But he didn't tell me anything, I swear.
What Tatiana has is damning information against her brother, but she may not know exactly what happened.
You got to give me something.
Talk to our friend Ryan Porter. He spoke with Allen before he left.
Well, Tatiana didn't seem to be completely honest with Rod. She mentioned that a guy named Ryan Porter may have some information on the case.
This guy was a close high school friend with Allen and Nicholas.
Rod wondered what Tatiana's motivation was for pointing the finger at Ryan.
Was he involved in the actual crime? Or was this just something to throw Rod off the trail from her brother?
Either way, Rod needed to speak to Ryan to see if he knew what happened to Nicholas Cox.
I had Ryan Porter brought to my office.
I want to talk to you about Nicholas Cox.
I don't have anything to say.
Ryan, he's very guarded and had an attitude.
Can't make me talk to you, bro.
He was just defiant, almost. I know the difference between someone who's an actual tough guy, and he was clearly pretending to be a tough guy.
So, are we done here?
You gotta let them know who their daddy is in this room.
Who do you think you're talking to?
You gotta manhandle him without touching him.
You want to get locked up?
They usually, as he did, just sort of back down and realize the reality or the gravity of the situation.
I'm sorry.
Start over.
I asked him if he knew anything about Nicholas's disappearance.
Nicholas came over to Tatiana's house and he and Ellen left together. I've never seen Nicholas again.
What about Allen?
Came by later and asked me for a ride.
The next huge nugget that Ryan drops on Detective Rod Demery is Allen's got blood on his clothes. He's alone, and he needs a lift to the bus depot. This brother's trying to get out of town. That's a guilt-laden fact.
He told me that he took Allen to the bus stop. So Allen was to take a bus from Shreveport to San Diego.
Was it Nicholas's blood?
I don't know.
You didn't ask?
Ryan knew that Allen was involved in some sort of crime.
Well, that's all I need to know.
When he told me that he took him to the bus station to get him out of town, clearly he's an accessory after the fact.
Let's go.
To where?
To
to jail.
At that point, I told him he was going to be placed under arrest for obstruction of justice.
Everything right now is adding up to Alan James being the murderer of Nicholas Cox.
Shortly after Ryan is taken to booking, the case takes a strange turn.
Demery.
I get a phone call from the jail saying that Ryan had a gun tucked away in the inside pocket of his jacket.
Unbelievable.
It's a human business. Even cops make a mistake. That could potentially be a fatal mistake when you miss a firearm.
I had two problems. One was that a patrol brought him in my office with a pistol without patting him down, so I was pretty pissed off. Knowing that he had a loaded pistol on his person, I realized that Ryan could have shot me, but that's a fleeting thought. The prevailing thought was, he's got a gun, is that the murder weapon?
I'm on my way.
Right now, Rod's got to be wondering, is Ryan the real killer?
I've never seen Nicholas again.
What about Alan?
The Nicholas Cox homicide investigation is starting to gain traction.
Why was he going out of town?
Something bad happened?
Detective Demery learns that a man named Ryan Porter helped suspect Alan James flee town.
Let's go.
To where?
To jail.
While Ryan's being booked on obstruction charges, police find a handgun in his pocket.
Unbelievable.
Rod's wondering if this gun is the murder weapon, and if Porter is the actual killer.
I'm on my way.
Rod needs some answers ASAP.
This is it.
The weapon that Ryan had was a .22 caliber pistol.
That's a small arm, small caliber weapon. That's probably not going to create the ruckus that happened inside of that Crown Victoria on that fateful day.
Get this thing tested. Yes, sir.
It was time to turn the volume all the way up on Ryan Porter.
You're a more hot water now.
Ryan's facing a concealed carry charge, and he's also facing a charge of carrying or introducing contraband into a correctional facility.
You gotta come clean.
And at that point, Ryan Porter changes his tune.
The gun is mine, but it's not part of any murder. When Alan came to my house that night, he was freaking out really bad.
He told me, in a nutshell, that Alan told him that Nicholas was shot. He was careful not to say that he shot Nicholas, but he disposed of Nicholas's body.
That's putting Alan James not just at the suspect level. He's number one.
That's all I know. You think Tatiana knows more?
Probably.
At this point, I realized there's nothing more that he can tell me, and I think he's told me all that he knows.
Rod appeared to be getting closer to the truth, but he knew it was nearly impossible to get the DA's office to prosecute this case without a body.
There's an old saying, no body, no case. Rod decided to take another run at Tatiana for more answers.
He believed she was still holding back, and without her help in locating Nicholas's body, the whole case might be shot.
Rod contacted Tatiana, and she agreed to come in for round number 3.
No more games. You want to go to jail or you want to go home?
My aim at that point is to get her to give me everything that she's got, or she's gonna go to jail as well.
What do you want to know?
I tell her bluntly, I want to know where Nicholas's body is.
I want to bring Nick home.
I really don't know where his body is, but I'll ask my brother.
Pardon.
She agreed to make a controlled phone call to Alan and find out where this body was.
He's using Tatiana as a de facto detective, coaching her on what to say to Alan, and he's recording the call.
She tells Alan that the police are investigating the disappearance of Nicholas.
How did Nicholas die?
Some dude shot him.
Alan explained to Tatiana that he and Nicholas got into a shootout with some people and Nicholas was shot and killed. Not a likely story. At least I know now that he has knowledge of Nicholas being shot and killed. And he has knowledge that it was a gunshot. That's really important. And she asked Alan, where's the body?
Come on, Alan, just tell me.
This is the moment of truth. It's all riding on this conversation right now. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. He's talking to his sister in what he believes is a private phone call. The tension is overwhelming.
It's in the woods off Shirley Francis Road.
Shirley Francis is West Sub Shreveport. There's still a little population out there, but it's desolate enough that you would never go out there.
You go about 100 feet.
He's given her pinpoint instructions on how to locate Nicholas's body in the woods. Then Alan says something that lets Rod Demery know that these directions are legit.
If you're not careful, you're going to scratch your car.
That was very significant in that we found scratches on the car. So we know this is true. I figured that we probably got all that we're going to get from Alan, and I was actually really anxious. Let's go see if we can find the body.
Rod assembles his team together, and they go out to that spot to find this last resting place of young Nicholas Cox.
Let's bring Nicholas home.
It's a heavily wooded area. We kind of team up and start looking systematically through the crime scene.
Rod Demery and his team are there for hours, searching inch by inch. And at this point, they're coming up empty.
You see anything?
We are all pretty frustrated because we walked around this area and no one's found anything. We don't know if we're gonna find a body.
Hey.
The doubt that Rod is feeling is suddenly erased.
I've got something.
One of the investigators said, "Is that an arm?" We see the arm that's an obvious human arm sticking from under brush that's been used to cover a very shallow grave.
Who found her?
I knew it was Nicholas Cox. There was never a question in my mind. I knew the case was closed at this point. I knew he had been murdered. I knew that Alan had killed him.
You ready for a trip?
Where?
Arrest Alan James.
Finding him in San Diego, California, and interviewing him on the spot is invaluable. So I knew I needed to go to San Diego.
How did Nicholas die?
Detective Rod Demery is one step closer to solving the murder of Nicholas Cox.
It's in the woods off Shirley Francis Road.
The prime suspect, Alan James, unknowingly provides the location of the body.
We got him.
A search on the outskirts of Shreveport leads to the discovery in a shallow grave of the remains of Nicholas Cox.
You ready for a trip?
Where?
Arrest Alan James.
I knew that Alan James was in San Diego, California. My partner and I had to convince the police department that we need to go to San Diego.
San Diego? That's right.
Every homicide detective knows that you want to go get your own suspect and you want to interview him.
Let the California boys handle it.
The police department sometimes wants to save money in any way they can. Their immediate thought was, we can send the local authorities to find him and ship him back to us.
What if they screw up our case?
You don't want him to be arrested and someone else attempt to talk to him and fail.
It's not happening. Request denied. I figured.
When my boss told me no, I expected him to say no. So I'd already formulated a plan on how to go around him, but I wanted to at least give him the courtesy to say no.
To be a successful homicide detective, you gotta be at least a little rebellious. Doing what you think is best for the case regardless of the consequences. We were like that, and Rod was no different.
He knew that getting approval for going on a trip was only possible if he could convince the top dog to say yes.
In this case, the person that Rod wanted on his side was the parish district attorney. And soon after meeting with his bosses, Rod had a chance encounter with the DA.
The DA knew Rod, knew his work, and liked him. Rod took advantage of that meeting.
He told the DA about the Nicholas Cox case and how he thought his boss didn't think that the police had the funds for Rod to finish the job.
The DA agreed to help. A short time later, Rod found out that the trip had been approved. Rod and another detective fly to San Diego to pick up this investigation and find Alan James. The local law enforcement pinpoint exactly where they believe Alan James is holed up.
They said Alan's cell phone was tracked to this place.
We knew who we were looking for. We had been studying Alan James' picture, so we knew what he looked like. We didn't expect to see him, no.
And out of nowhere, a man emerges from the building that they're watching.
Who's this?
This guy comes walking out. Like, we're looking at each other in disbelief. Is that him?
Alan.
That is him. You know, it's get out.
Alan.
His head just dropped, and at that point, you know, you got your guy.
Alan James is in custody. The interview is going to be done in this zip code on the West Coast.
You wish to make a statement, talk to me, tell me how this happened.
Yeah.
Alan's initial story is that they went to a convenience store, just kind of driving around.
We went to a gas station over there by my house. Got something to eat first.
Okay, where were y'all riding in?
In his car.
So immediately he acknowledges being there. Obviously, that's the first part of an interrogation. You want them at the crime scene. And you start to narrow it down from there.
After grabbing a bite to eat at this convenience store, Alan says he and Nicholas encountered a stranger.
We stopped at a stop sign. Some dude came up and was like, "Hey, Cox." And he shot me. I just sat there for a minute. I just looked, you know what I'm saying? And then he just turned around and walked off. Like it wasn't nothing.
I can't believe the crap that's coming out of this guy's mouth.
What side of the car did the gunman come on?
Driver's side. And so that's when I put Nick over into the other side of the car, then I drove the car.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Alan was not telling the full story. And you can see the torment on his face. I mean, it was obvious.
He had the patience of a 25-year homicide veteran instead of some guy in his first year in this particular profession.
I know you got to be in knots, man, trying to sleep at night. I know it had to be difficult for you, man.
Oh, sleep.
Once you get it off your chest, you'll get it all off. You'll feel better.
If they drop their head and break down in tears, as Alan did, oh, they're going to give the full story.
Just tell the truth. I mean, because it's going to come out.
Alan James, the prime suspect in the murder of Nicholas Cox, appears to be on the verge of confessing.
Oh, sleep.
Get it all off. You'll feel better.
It's time for Rod to bring this case home.
I was to go to the police because I knew it was an accident and I was thinking, well, nobody gonna listen.
Okay, did you think about going to the hospital?
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought about.
Detective Demery specifically asked Alan James, "Why didn't you take your buddy to the hospital?" He said, "I did. I got out of the car, but I realized that they're not gonna believe me."
I went to the house, packed up my stuff, got on the bus, and left.
The accident story makes no sense, holds no water. Rod is not considering it as he develops evidence in his head because he knows this young brother was lying.
We're going to spend however long it takes, months, years, whatever, to get the truth of it. Or you can just simply tell us the truth and tell us what happened.
Tell us what happened. Tell us. An accident.
I don't believe it's an accident at all. And I push it to the point where I realized that that's not something he was going to ever give up. But, you know, we take what we get.
Based on everything, Detective Demery believes he has everything he needs and knows what happened on that fateful night.
When Nicholas went to go see Alan, it was just I'm going to go say goodbye. And I think once he hooked up with him, Alan saw his car, he's like, let me drive it.
Rod theorized that Alan was a bit jealous that his friend was still in the Navy and he got kicked out.
At some point, Nicholas told Alan to get himself together because Alan had gotten kicked out of the Navy, he was smoking weed, he was running around town.
While riding around, Nicholas says something that pisses Alan off.
At that point, Alan was sort of overwhelmed by sort of being chastised by his friend.
Alan is just like a ticking time bomb.
I believe it was a sort of an envy, a rage, and trying to prove himself as being some sort of a gangster.
He snaps and shoots Nicholas in the head.
He intentionally shot him and killed him. He drove around with his body in the trunk and disposed of his body and left town.
Alan James is brought back to Shreveport.
Ultimately, Ryan Porter was released on the obstruction of justice charges. Ballistics confirmed that the gun Porter had was not the murder weapon.
Alan James goes to trial and is convicted of second-degree murder.
He's sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Brad, looking at this case and understanding how you investigated it, that's really a testament to your skill and your ability. And you work for a fellow veteran the way you did, I mean, it means something because I'm a vet too.
The interesting thing about this case is that at that time, my son, who's now 15, was being born. I named him after that kid, Nicholas. Oh. Yeah. But,
this case is incredible to me because Rod Demery is someone who would later become my friend.
That's a lot of blood.
I see the parallels between Rod and myself. I see the parallels between Rod and my partner.
Pop the trunk.
When Rod saw that poor victim's clothing in the trunk of his own car, he harkened back to his military days.
Let's bring Nicholas home.
And unfortunately, standing over this dead sailor in the woods, Rod felt something there.
You ready for a trip?
Yo. Why you stopping? Yo. It was January 28th, 2001, Super Bowl Sunday. We're sitting around the office, brand new detectives. I mean, we were fresh cabbage. There's a call that came in about a body found inside a vehicle in Southeast Atlanta.
This is actually one of our first cases together. Since we're rookies, we're being called to assist veteran detective B.J. Reese.
This guy was a total homicide legend, and we couldn't wait to get a chance to work with the best in our unit. So we headed out to the scene, notebooks in hand. Murder school was about to be in session.
We arrive at the crime scene, a cut-through road next to Trestle Tree Apartments in Southeast Atlanta.
My old stomping grounds. Reese. What up? They brought me fresh meat.
So Detective Reese was a character. He was funny, he had dry humor, but he was a great guy and he was a wealth of knowledge.
All right, what do we got, big homie?
Black male in the front passenger seat.
The victim is identified as 29-year-old Enrico Moran.
Have a look inside.
We're trying to learn. I mean, the school bells have rung.
What do you see?
He's got multiple gunshot wounds. He's got one in the upper torso, he's got one in the left cheek, and he's got one in the left hand.
He was fighting.
Yo. Which, even as rookie detectives we know, that's gonna be a defense wound.
What else?
Looks like the body doesn't appear to have been moved.
I'm not seeing any bullet holes on the outside of the vehicle. So that's making me feel like the shooting went down from inside the vehicle.
Yo, check it. I got some burned up magazines in there.
All right, so it looks like our killer was trying to torch the car.
He knows that either his DNA, his fingerprints, some type of biological or physical evidence may be there that could link him to this crime scene, and he's making an attempt to get rid of it.
Nice observations.
It looks like they placed it in the car near the seats to try to catch the seats on fire, but it just didn't work.
Oh, yeah, we got something, fellas.
So as we dive deeper into our crime scene, we look in the back seat and we see 2 spent shell casings.
Bingo. What's that, 40 cal, huh?
It's all starting to add up. So if our shooter was sitting in the front driver's seat and he's firing a weapon, they're going to eject to the right.
What's the motive?
We know this car is not on the roadway. It's off the beaten path.
So the vehicle's concealed here, probably on purpose.
Our killer more than likely driving the car pulled off the roadway to get out of view because something was happening.
Dope deal gone wrong.
Or a robbery.
We got a lot of questions, very few answers. But right now, the best thing is to find who actually owns the car.
Thank you, sister. Yep. Cool. So we got an ID on the owner of the vehicle. It's a Miss Shantae Mitchell.
Right away, we know it's not Henrico Morant's vehicle.
She lives in Inglewood.
Shantae Mitchell. She's next up for an interview, and we're eager to go do that.
You two speak with Ms. Mitchell. I'm going to make a death notification to Enrico's family.
We got this.
You know, the first big question we gonna ask, why is there a dead guy in your car, and do you know him? We roll over to the Inglewood Projects to meet Shantae.
I know why y'all here.
Yeah?
Pooh's dead.
She's kind of already heard he's dead. You know, it's in the grapevine. It's out there. Inglewood, you know, news travels fast.
Pooh is Henrico's nickname?
Yeah, Pooh. That's what everybody call him.
This sister is kind of matter of fact. There are no tears or anything.
How do you know Pooh?
He's my ex-boyfriend.
You let your ex drive your car?
It's his car. It's only in my name because he ain't got no credit.
And when was the last time you saw Pooh?
Last night about 9.
He was parked in his vehicle in the Horseshoe in Inglewood around 9 p.m. the night before we found his body.
Already, man. Yeah, that's the pressure.
The Horseshoe is like the epicenter to where people come to meet, to do drug deals, to party. I mean, the Horseshoe was a central meeting place that had everything but a DJ.
Pooh loves hanging out at the shoe. Every day, all day.
What's he do? Sell dope?
Yeah.
Pooh was very well known in Inglewood, and if you really wanted to find Pooh, the Horseshoe was the place to go. Shantae says the last time she saw Pooh, they were just kind of joking around with each other.
What you doing later?
Nothing with you.
Come on.
She goes on to say that Pooh was trying to get back with her because they dated for a long time.
I was just talking to him because we share a credit card and I wanted him to pay the bill. Come on, Pooh. You know you got the money to take care of me.
Yeah, all right. We'll see.
How long have y'all been broken up?
Like 3 months ago.
And what, you're still friendly with each other?
Mm-hmm.
It just felt from my gut, and Vin agreed with me, she was holding something back.
Is there anything that you can think of that could help us identify Pooh's killer?
You know, everybody's saying that Chuck might have had something to do with it.
She had no details. She just had a name, Chuck. We asked her, do you know Chuck's real name? Shantae said no.
Why would Chuck kill him?
I don't know. That's just what everybody's saying.
All right, are they saying anything else that might help us out?
Nah.
Nah.
Are we done here?
Yeah, we're done.
We both knew something wasn't adding up with her. She wasn't emotional, and she was holding back. There's something she wasn't telling us. We head back to the office to update Detective Reese. Quinn and I are basically recapping this interview with Shantae, writing our notes, getting ready to meet Detective Reese, when all of a sudden he busts into the squad room, excited.
Somebody's having a day.
And Reese doesn't get that excited, so we knew it was good information.
Enrico's family told me a lot. How'd it go with Shantae?
Well, she said a guy named Chuck is the killer.
Really?
And that's when Reese drops a bombshell.
family like Shantae for the murder.
That's exactly lining up with our gut feeling when we left Shantae. We got to talk to Shantae ASAP.
To solve this murder, we'll need to untangle a twisted web of lies.
He was seeing another woman.
Something isn't right.
Bingo.
The investigation is about to have a shakeup.
Let's head back to Inglewood.
This was our shot.
Were you watching the other night when everything went down with Pooh?
It's time to earn these gold badges. The evidence will point toward a sinister plot.
Nothing stays secret in the horseshoe.
He couldn't stand Pooh.
It's looking like the apprentice killed the master. In the end,
Oh my God, get over here now!
it takes an unexpected witness to help close the case.
They need to go ahead and come clean with us.
Sometimes it takes a village to solve a murder.
For now, we focus on Shantae until we can focus on someone else.
So it's like, tag, you're it, until you're not.
Exactly.
All right, so what's our next steps?
You guys need to talk to Shantae again.
All right, we're on it.
Let's boogie.
Now, we gotta get some answers. It's time to circle back, ring the bell. It's round 2.
Ding, ding.
You need to be straight up with us this time.
What are you talking about?
Your relationship with Pooh. We're hearing it wasn't so rosy.
She cops to maybe it wasn't a friendly breakup after all.
He was seeing another woman. And he started missing credit card payments, and that was pissing me off too.
What were you doing on the night of the murder? Where were you?
With my friends.
All right, let's do something. Write down all the numbers and names of your friends so we can verify that.
She just went up and down saying she had nothing to do with his death.
I told y'all need to talk to Chuck.
She was all over this Chuck scenario, and she kept trying to bury that down our throats. So as me and Vin are sitting here trying to get round 2 going with Shantae Mitchell, we hear all this commotion outside on the porch area. Somebody's coming into the house.
Yo!
Hey, welcome in, brother.
As soon as he sees me and Quinn, his face completely changes. He looked like a deer caught in the headlights.
All right, now, who are you?
I'm Lil Craig.
He's my younger brother.
You hear about Pooh?
That's right.
Apparently, everybody in the neighborhood know Pooh is dead.
Big sale today.
Yeah.
We're looking at all these shoe boxes and bags. I mean, he's shopping way after Christmas, and he's happy about it.
Shantae gave me her credit card.
The same credit card that you share with Pooh.
Nah, it's a different one.
Something's not right.
What you got going on, young brother? Because I don't believe you.
I just get right in this kid's face.
Because something's stinking up in here, so I need to come holler at you real quick. It's you and me right now.
I'm saying to Lil Craig, yo, man, what's up with all these packages? What's your relationship with our dead man?
Did you kill Pooh because you broke up with your sister?
No way, I wouldn't do that to Pooh.
Huh?
No way, I wouldn't do that to Pooh.
You wouldn't do that to Pooh?
No.
No.
He goes on to say that he looked up to Pooh like it was his big brother, like he loved him so much.
We can't tell if little Craig is putting on a show, but we need to lock him into a story.
So when's the last time you saw Pooh?
It was in the evening, like 6 o'clock. He was in the horseshoe, talked about going to a party or something.
He talked with him briefly, so we got him locked into that. He stamped that for himself. His sister saw him at 9. Lil Craig is saying 6 p.m.
So you know who killed Pooh then?
I heard it was Chuck.
We have little Craig now saying the same thing his sister Shantae said.
Who told you that?
Just word on the street.
So I gotta think, did they get their stories together?
What can you tell us about this Chuck dude, bro?
Look, I know nobody messes with him.
According to Lil Craig, everybody in Inglewood was afraid of Chuck. He robbed for a living. That was his job. His modus operandi was to walk up and rob, and he always carried a gun.
I heard he killed a guy.
Me too.
So at this point, Chuck is added to our suspect pool, no doubt.
What about you, Shantae? What you got for me? Okay, cool. I guess our time here is done for now. All right, we'll be in touch with y'all. Thank you.
Shantae and her little brother Craig are not off the hook, but there's nothing else we can do with them right now. We gotta catch and release and keep it moving.
We're still homicide babies at this point, so every piece of information that we gathered on Shantae and Craig,
we shuffled over to Detective Reese. Reese thought we were making great progress in the case.
Then out of nowhere, Reese gets reassigned to a cold case over at the DA's office. Suddenly, we're the lead detectives on the Henrico Moran homicide. It's like our training wheels just got taken off. And we knew there was bad blood between Shantae and Pooh after the breakup.
So we decided to focus on the new girlfriend.
Maybe she can help shine a light on the case.
We set up a meeting with Pooh's girlfriend, Kiki Smith.
Thank you for meeting with us.
No problem.
The reason why it's so important to talk to Kiki Smith because she's the new lady. She's gonna know Pooh's day-to-day activities, who he kicks it with, and tighten our timeline even closer.
How can I help?
So, do you know about this guy, Chuck?
Yeah?
You know his last name?
Mm-mm.
Do you know if this guy Chuck had any beef with Pooh?
Not that I had ever heard of. The only one that has beef with Pooh is Shantae.
Here we are, back to Shantae.
She wouldn't move on.
Kiki had no good words for Shantae. She said it was an awful breakup, and she couldn't take being the loser. And she said that Shantae never got over it.
They fought and they weren't even together anymore.
Now we got an independent source pointing the finger at Shantae.
It's always about the Benjamins with you.
She says that they were always arguing about money.
It's over between us. And I ain't paying for your stuff. I want my chain back.
That's mine now.
She remembers an argument about a gold necklace with a diamond-studded pendant that Shantae took from Pooh, and Pooh always wanted to get back.
You better give it back.
You better pay that credit bill or else.
She even heard Shantae say to Pooh, I'm gonna do something to you.
Do you think Shantae killed Pooh?
I don't know. She'd have to have some help.
She doesn't think that Shantae acted alone.
Like what, from her brother?
No, her baby's daddy.
She suggests that we go talk to her child's father, a guy named Phil.
He couldn't stand Pooh.
Kiki goes on to say, a couple of weeks before Pooh's death, that Pooh and Phil got into it over Shantae.
He called Pooh and he went crazy.
It was a heated argument on the phone.
Boy, you're gonna end up stinking somewhere.
Now, if he from the street come up stinking means you're gonna be dead somewhere. And now he's threatening the life of our victim.
I think it's time we have a talk with Phil.
For sure.
We gotta throw him in the suspect pool now.
Q.
The motive in this homicide is becoming crystal clear.
I saw Lil Craig the day after Pooh was killed.
Everyone in the victim's inner circle keeps leading us back to Shantae.
He's a liar.
Was their breakup so bad it led to murder?
For meeting with us.
Anytime we work a homicide case, we want to meet the significant other because we know intimate relationships share intimate information.
Do you think Shantae killed Pooh?
I don't know. She'd have to have some help.
The girlfriends are better than phone records, fingerprints, or DNA.
Like what, from her brother?
No, her baby's daddy.
They're a wealth of information anytime you work a homicide investigation.
Come fly with me.
Thank you for meeting with us.
How can I help?
We are now running point on the murder investigation of Henrico Pooh Moran.
The only one that has beef with Pooh is Shantae.
During an interview with the victim's current girlfriend, she implicates the victim's past girlfriend named Shantae Mitchell.
She'd have to have some help.
Like what, from her brother?
And Shantae isn't swimming alone in the suspect pool.
No, her baby's daddy.
So Kiki tells us we need to go see Shantae's child's dad, a guy named Phil.
Boy, you're gonna end up stinking somewhere.
We hear that Phil made a statement that our victim's gonna end up dead.
I think it's time we have a talk with Phil.
For sure.
He's connected to Shantae. Shantae's been on our radar from the beginning. That's something we gotta take a deeper dive into.
All right, let's see what we can find on this guy.
We then learned that Phil's real name is Phil Harris.
Bingo. He's got a record.
Nice.
Hold on.
What?
A quick search in the database determines that Phil was actually in jail on the night of the murder.
Damn.
So Phil's alibied out.
That went nowhere fast.
All right, what next?
We gotta go check up on our mystery guy.
So we still got this guy, Chuck, that we have yet to identify.
Let's head back to Inglewood.
Let's slide.
one thing we learned, even though we're babies in this unit, the answers always lie in the neighborhood. We want to get out there and make some friends. Let's start some new relationships in Inglewood.
Y'all talk to Kiana?
Kiana? No, not yet.
She knows everything that's going on around here.
One of the people everybody was telling us they need to get a holler at was a girl named Kiana Morris. She is the true eyes and ears of that particular hood.
What apartment is she in?
23C. It overlooks the Horseshoe.
So maybe Kiana saw something on the night of the murder.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
We meet with Kiana, and she agrees to speak with us.
Thank you for meeting with us.
Yeah, Pooh was a nice guy. He didn't deserve that.
And as soon as we walk in the living room, and I look out the window, I got a bird's eye view of the entire Horseshoe.
Nice for you.
There's always something going on out there. It's like better than TV.
Were you watching this better than TV stuff the other night when everything went down with Pooh?
Yeah, I saw what happened.
And she actually saw Pooh. About 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, he was posted right outside up under her window in the Horseshoe.
Did you see anything suspicious?
It was dark. I saw that he wasn't alone.
She says little Craig was out there with him, sitting in the car. We like, damn. Little Craig told us the last time he saw our victim, Enrico Morant, it was the Saturday before the Super Bowl at 6 p.m. Now she's saying at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, little Craig is sitting in the car with Pooh. Something's stinking.
He's a liar.
Right. All right, so did you see Lil Craig and Pooh leave here together?
No, Lil Craig left and then Chuck showed up.
Really?
Yo, Pooh.
She says the last person she saw talking to our victim was Chuck.
Man, I'm faded, bro.
Man, how do you know this guy was Chuck?
His jacket.
She said because he's always wearing that red, white, and blue racing cup jacket. He never takes it off.
She says Chuck was standing outside of the car talking to Pooh, and it was about 3:15. It's the last time she saw Chuck and Pooh together.
Chuck asked for a ride?
She can actually hear the conversation. I mean, her windows are up.
Did he say where he wanted to go?
I didn't hear that part.
I'm just praying that she knows Chuck's real name.
You know his full name?
It's Chuck Lee?
Chuck Lee. Okay. He live in Inglewood?
No, Chuck is out in Trestle Tree.
That's a couple blocks away from where the car was found. That's the connection. That's all making sense now.
What do you think?
I think Chuck looks good for this.
Chuck could have killed our victim and literally walked home and been home in 2 minutes.
Hey, and since Lil Craig and his sister lied to us, we're not gonna X them out of this just yet.
Right now, we got a gumbo of 3 viable suspects. We got to get back to the office. Let's chop up all the information on these people and see where we need to go next.
We started by taking a closer look at Pooh's ex-girlfriend, Shantae Mitchell. She gave us a list of the people she was with on the night of the murder.
We contacted all of them, and they completely alibied her out of our case. Next, we shifted our focus to Chuck Lee. He was last seen with Pooh in the Horseshoe shortly before his murder.
We ran through the database, and we saw that he served time on a weapons offense.
So we pulled a mugshot, and we showed it to our girl, Kiana. She confirmed that's the man she saw with Pooh. Everything's lining up.
Back at the office, we learned CSI didn't recover any prints or DNA in the car. So all of a sudden, I get a call.
Detective Velasquez. Yeah.
It's a resident from Inglewood. She's got information. And we're happy about this because this is one of our first cases. It seems like everybody wants to help us.
Repeat that?
I saw Lil Craig the day after Pooh was killed. He was acting like he just ran into a bunch of money.
Okay, you know where he got the cash?
It was Pooh's money.
According to this witness, as soon as it was discovered everybody knew that Pooh was dead, Little Craig made a beeline to the stash house that Pooh had in Inglewood, just the other side of the Horseshoe.
He cleaned the place out.
Okay.
She said he took clothing, jewelry, money, drug scales, and he took some weight. He actually took drugs out the apartment.
I'm like, wait a minute. I remember the shopping bag.
Hey, welcome in, brother.
Big sale today.
Lil Craig is spending Henrico's money before he's even cold at the morgue.
I'm ready to put some bracelets on this kid.
All right, let's roll.
Lil Craig's been lying to us. That ends now.
Were you watching the other night when everything went down with Pooh?
Yeah, I saw what happened.
The Henrico Pooh Morant murder case is finally coming into focus.
Lil Craig left, and then Chuck showed up.
We're down to 2 suspects, Lil Craig and Chuck Lee. Both men were seen with the victim on the night of the murder.
Okay, you know where he got the cash?
It was Pooh's money.
We know that Lil Craig took our victim's stuff right after the murder. That smells like a suspect.
Hey, man, I'm ready to put some bracelets on this kid.
All right, let's roll.
We decided to bring Little Craig back in, sit him down, and have his ass go through all the lies and all the misconceptions he put us through in the first interview.
We want nothing from you but the truth.
So we go right to it. We got witnesses put your ass right in front of Pooh's car just before he ended up missing.
Because you lied to us. And the only reason people lie is because you're hiding something.
All right, I admit it. I was with Pooh late that night. We had gone to a party, but that's it. I didn't kill him.
He told us that he was just afraid, and he just gave us any old time just to put himself as far away from the crime as possible.
I left Inglewood, and Pooh was chilling in his car.
Why did you go empty out his stash house right after the murder?
And when we said that, Craig looked at us like, ooh, you know about that? We're like, yeah, of course we know about that.
I mean, Pooh would have wanted me to have it. He was dead, so it's not like he could use his stuff anymore.
It sounds hard, cold, and foul, but he knows the only thing would happen is the cops would come in there and take all that dope and all that stuff out of there.
Look, if I didn't take it, somebody else would have. I'm sorry I lied, man, but I swear I didn't kill Pooh. He was like my big brother.
We're not feeling Lil Craig at this point, so we cut him loose.
We'll be in touch with you if we have some questions, all right?
We know if we got to go back to Lil Craig later, we know where to find him.
So what now?
Now we need to take a good hard look at Chuck.
Hey, gentlemen, you have a visitor.
At the office, we get a walk-in witness.
Y'all investigating Pooh's murder, right?
Right.
I know someone that can help y'all out.
He identifies himself as Chris Jones, Kiana Morris's boyfriend. He said he has information regarding that last night Pooh was saw alive.
So I was at this party, and Chuck was there.
All right, what time is this?
It's about 3 a.m.
Go on.
Chuck pulls out a gun. Everybody scatters.
What kind of weapon was it?
.40 caliber.
It was like it was a joke, but he says .40 caliber, firing up in the air the same night our victim goes off the radar. Boom, bam, that's a clue.
What's that, 40 cal, huh? How do you know that this gun was a 40 cal?
Chuck always carries that gun.
We learned from Chris Jones that he knows Chuck Lee, known him for several years. He said Chuck is a professional robber.
Does Chuck know Pooh?
Of course.
A new motive comes to light.
Pooh always rolled around with a lot of cash. His 1990 Buick LeSabre was basically a bank on wheels. That's a great target.
I saw them both at the party, well, after the party, actually. They rode off together.
You saw Chuck get into the car?
Yes.
So now we have a witness that puts our victim and Chuck in the same car where he's found dead in.
Okay. Thanks for the information, brother.
No problem.
We have a lot of evidence, but it's all circumstantial. And that's good evidence. You can get a conviction on that. But at this point, we need more.
So as we're putting together a plan, trying to figure out how we're gonna get a sit down with Mr. Chuck Lee, my cell phone goes off.
Yeah, you got Quinn.
It's Kiana Morris.
Kiana. Well, okay. All right, slow down for me, sis. I can't hear you.
My partner's sitting next to me. I pop the phone on the speaker, and she's just gone. She says, you gotta get to Inglewood right now, up by the horseshoe.
It's Chuck. He's out here. He's tearing up the place.
For people living with
Does Chuck know Pooh?
Of course.
A witness helps finger Chuck Lee as the prime suspect in the murder of Henrico Pooh Morant.
What kind of weapon was it?
.40 caliber.
This is good information because this witness now puts the caliber of weapon that was used to kill our victim.
We're convinced Chuck had something to do with it.
Yeah, you got Quinn.
That's when we get this call from Kiana Morris saying we had to get up to the Horseshoe right away because Chuck was up there going crazy.
It's Chuck. He's out here. He's tearing up the place.
All right, slow down for me, sis. I can't hear you.
Chuck went after Pooh's nephew.
Chuck had come up to the Horseshoe, according to Kiana, to confront Pooh's nephew, Armani Washington.
Why you telling people that I killed Pooh?
According to Kiana, Armani was telling everybody up in Inglewood and anybody near the Horseshoe that Chuck killed his uncle.
Chuck hit him in the face. They're fighting. I'm watching right now from my apartment.
Right now?
We got a front row seat and we're not even there.
Oh my God. Get over here now.
All right, we're on the way, sister.
This thing's going crazy at this point.
All right, we need a couple squad cars.
After we hear all this noise from Kiana Morris, we're trying to get to the car as soon as possible so we can get out there and have our encounter with Chuck Lee. It was like listening to a prize fight on the radio. Armani goes down, Chuck gets on top of him, then Armani knocks Chuck down. It was like she was giving blow by blow what was going on as we're able to run the 7 or 8 miles we got to get to the Horseshoe.
Armani's mother's here now. She's trying to save him.
Armani gets in his mother's car. Kiana says, and now Chuck is ramming the car.
He's in the car. He's ramming the old lady's car.
All right, we're on the way, sister.
Going for backup. We need backup here.
And I'm just thinking, this is utter chaos out there.
And as soon as we get there, I hang up with her, see both cars disabled in a ditch. I've got Armani, his mama, but no Chuck Lee. He is unasked the area.
All right, y'all, where's Chuck?
He took off after he rammed the car.
Chuck Lee is gone, but these other victims are there. So we want to make sure that they're okay.
All right, so we definitely got everything we need to bring this Chuck in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ding-ding moment. There's a car being used as a weapon.
That's aggravated assault all day long when you use a vehicle to ram someone else.
All right, let's take some statements to see if we can get paper on this guy.
The next day, we secured a warrant for Chuck Lee's arrest. We got our fugitive team out there looking, but there's no sign of Chuck. He's a ghost.
We impounded Chuck's vehicle and ran the tags.
It came back registered to a woman by the name of Nakia King. It turns out she's Chuck's girlfriend and lives over in the Trestle Tree Apartments.
We were planning to scoop her up when we received information that Chuck and Nakia fled to Chicago. A few weeks later, we actually reached out to the FBI for help. They plan to have agents in Chicago try to track him down.
Then out of nowhere, we received word Chuck's girl is back in Atlanta.
Since we still had her car locked up, we called her and set up a meeting.
Hopefully, she'd give us something on Chuck.
Thanks for coming in.
So we want to talk about your boyfriend.
Sure.
So me and Vin sit down with Nakia King in the homicide office, and, you know, she seems to be helpful, but it sounds a little rehearsed.
Were you with him on the evening of January 27th?
Yeah.
You were together in Inglewood?
Uh-huh. I mean, he was there for a minute, but not too long.
So she did acknowledge that Chuck actually went to Inglewood that Saturday, and that she even picked him up around midnight. They went home, watched some TV, got into bed, and went to sleep.
All right, so you're saying you picked him up around midnight?
Yeah.
Right now, we're looking at Nakia King kind of sideways because we got to remember, Kiana Morris said she saw Chuck Lee around Pooh's vehicle around 3:30 a.m., not 12 midnight. That's a big discrepancy. We decide to switch gears.
Does Chuck carry a gun?
No.
No?
We know that's not true.
So why'd you and Chuck go to Chicago?
For safety.
And she says after the fight with Armani, her life was threatened. Not just her life, but her kid's life. So she had to get out of Atlanta and head to Chicago, according to her, in order to protect her family.
I have little kids, and they were in danger.
Understandable. So where's Chuck now?
I don't know.
You were together in Chicago?
No, we got there and went our separate ways.
So you didn't see him in Chicago?
No. I gotta get my kids. Are we done?
We know Nakia's lying. She's not budging from this story. She's protecting her man. But at this point, we gotta let her go.
Thank you for your time, sister.
Waiting game time.
Oh, yeah.
Later that day, the case takes a major turn.
Homicide, Velasquez. What? Feds just grabbed Chuck earlier today. Yeah, that's great news. Yep. Did you get him to talk?
We're excited about this. I can't wait to hear what Chuck has to say.
It feels like you're not telling us the truth.
Well, we're finding out just 3 months into homicide. We have a certain comfort level with witnesses.
So you didn't see him in Chicago?
No.
We want to make sure we get the information, and the most important thing is just to verify it after they give it to us.
Are we done?
Yes, absolutely.
And so like every other witness in this murder investigation, she's probably going to get around too.
Homicide, Velasquez. What?
The Enrico Morant murder investigation is winding down.
The feds grabbed Chuck earlier today. That's great news.
The prime suspect, Chuck Lee, was arrested by the FBI in Chicago.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, so FBI interviewed Chuck. They're emailing us a statement.
And they agreed to send us a transcript of the interview.
Beautiful, baby.
Let's see if it's in.
Did they ask him about Pooh?
The FBI up in Chicago asked questions about Pooh's murder.
Deny.
Chuck Lee tells the FBI he's never owned a .40 caliber handgun. He went on to say that he was home asleep in Trestle Tree Village when Pooh was killed.
Damn. He gave the same BS story as his girl, Nakia.
Hold up. Check this out. It's not the same story.
When they start asking about Chuck's girlfriend, he tells the FBI agent that not only did he leave Atlanta with Nakia, but he was with her in Chicago for the entire 2 weeks. Completely different than what Nakia says.
Vinny, we can use this against her.
I knew she was lying.
I'll start the paperwork.
There we go. All right, Bob.
So we don't hesitate. We get a warrant charging Nakia with obstruction. Let's see if she remembers the truth now.
Yep. Back. Right back. You know why? Because, sister, you should have told us the truth the first time. Okay?
I let her know straight up I had a warrant for her arrest for the charge of obstruction.
And now you're deep in it, okay? Because now you could lose your children. You can end up in foster care.
Yo, you could be charged for murder here. You realize that?
But I didn't do nothing.
They need to go ahead and come clean with us.
Right now, this sister has every reason to talk to me now.
Do you really want to serve jail time for what Chuck did? No?
So Nakia changes her story up. She goes on to say that in the early morning hours, Chuck returned home and something was really wrong.
He was upset. He said he killed Pooh.
Why?
He said Pooh tried to rob him.
This doesn't jive. We know for a fact that Pooh's got money on him all the time. He's the target.
Chuck is the known robber, not Pooh.
I'm just telling you what Chuck said.
What she just told me in legal terminology is a third-party confession.
We have an affidavit here. We need you to sign it.
She heard the killer tell her he killed somebody. That's direct evidence I can use at trial.
We're good. Thank you, sister. All right. You're doing the right thing. We're gonna make sure we do what we can to protect you, okay?
It seems we now know what happened that fateful night.
It was after the party. Pooh posted up in his car. He had a good time. He's probably drinking, according to other witnesses. He's probably feeling a little tipsy.
Yo, Pooh. What's up, man?
Pooh doesn't know he has a target on his back.
Can you take me to my crib?
Man, I'm faded, bro. I ain't finna drive nowhere right now.
Yeah, move over, bro. Got you.
And sometimes robberies, it's all about opportunity, the right moment. For some reason, Chuck decides there's only one way to get all of Pooh's money.
Yo. Why you stopping?
We believe Chuck Lee just made his move on him, just like, some kind of animal in the jungle.
Yo. Hey.
We believe Chuck steals Pooh's cash and jewelry. So after the murder, Chuck tried to destroy evidence by burning the car, and that goes back to those burnt magazines we found in the crime scene. After trying to do that, Chuck just basically...
Chuck Lee is charged with malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and simple battery. In November 2003, Chuck Lee is convicted and sentenced to life in prison.
Reese, yo. They brought me fresh meat.
When I reflect back on this case, it almost feels like it's the origin story for Quentin Velasquez. This was our coming out party.
What's the motive?
Dope deal gone wrong.
Or a robbery.
Okay, you know where you got the cash?
It was Pooh's money.
We made sure that not only are we working for our victims' families, but we want that community to know that we would work as hard for them if we ever had to be there for them.
Yo, why you stopping?
You know what kind of gun it was?
40 caliber.
It was beautiful to see this community come together and fight to solve a murder.